Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with Tech Solutions. Hope that you guys are all having an amazing Sunday. This is our Sunday Stock Talk. We host one of these live streams every single Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That's Arizona time. As right now, it is 6:23 here, and I'm ready to kind of kickstart the week. This is a great time to kind of just come together and prep for the overall trading week. If you have any questions throughout this live stream, or if you ever want to tune on in, just make sure you drop a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and again, we literally host one of these live streams every single Sunday. So let's go ahead and do our part in just sharing whatever stock it is that you see value in the ticker call out format. So if you guys would like me to break down your top stock, all I ask you to do is to post it in the ticker call out format. One of the things that I kind of want to update you guys on as of right now is we are approaching, right? Last week was, I think, the first week for earnings season. A lot of these stocks, a lot of these companies are reporting earnings, which can act as both positive and or negative catalysts. Just something to take into consideration. I hope that you do your part in staying well balanced throughout this time. The market as of right now is still super bullish. As you guys can see, this is /NQ, which is the NASDAQ future. This is /ES, which is the S&P 500 future. And the market's been doing great. Market's been super bullish. It's been very consistent, and it's been making higher highs and higher lows. They are both at 180-day highs. The market is not a good deal right now, right? We are very overbought. It doesn't mean that you have to be scared. It just means that you should prepare, right? And it happens all the time where you don't have to do anything if you don't want to at the end of the day. It's your job to take action when it makes sense. But every time, almost every time like clockwork, when it hits new highs, pulls on back, hits new highs, pulls on back, hits new highs, pulls on back. And they're little corrections, right? And these are healthy, right? It allows the market to be able to breathe. Pushes up, hits new highs, pulls on back to the SMA line. Pushes up, hits all-time highs, pulls right on back. This is when we saw a break a pattern, and we've been now recovering since the overall sell-off, right? Now we're at 180-day highs. We're a little bit more on the overbought side. There is no sign of it pulling back just yet. We're still doing a very good job holding above the EMA line, but it's just something to take into consideration that, hey, we are a little bit more on the overbought side. The overall market's not a very good deal, and it wouldn't be much of a surprise if it begins to pull on back, but all we have to do is set alerts and follow up with it. So let's go ahead and get started. So we have PLTR. We have Justin Da Silva. What's going on, man? Hope that you're having an amazing weekend with FDX. Let's go ahead and start breaking these down. If you guys just want to start funneling those tickers in the live chat, we can go from that. So we got FDX right here. FDX looks like it's been trying to recover ever since its original drop. Already reported earnings, right? So it's been recovering ever since then. Been making higher highs and higher lows. I do remember talking about FDX. I'm not too sure, Justin, if you're the one that brought it up, but it recently pulled on back. It's been making higher highs, higher lows, and I'm not too sure if that's what you find the most attractive. The thing about FedEx as of right now, based off previous 180-day highs, it offers nearly a 7% return. This isn't something that offers a crazy return, crazy margins, nothing like that. But guess what? It's consistent. It's bullish, right? It's been making higher highs, higher lows, and the margin is there. So if you're someone that has been struggling to stay in the green, or if you're someone that's just really destroying your trading account or your investing account by putting your money in very poor and aggressive moving stocks, then maybe learn how to walk before you run, right? And then set effective alerts on this. So I see why you're paying attention to it, Justin. I wouldn't view this to be the best deal, right? So especially with where we're at as of right now in previous resistance levels, but I see why you're paying attention to it. As of right now, it's pulling on back. And a quick little heads up, if we begin to see the NASDAQ market and the S&P 500 pull back, don't be surprised that this pulls back as well, right? So it's great that it has this really nice bullish channel, right? But let's prepare. So let's set that alert for the break above EMA, and we can follow up with it there. So the other one was PLTR, right? So PLTR, this is just my 2 cents. PLTR was doing an absolute amazing job when it was bullish, right? If I'm not mistaken, this is Peter Thiel's company, which is like one of the largest investors in Silicon Valley, right? Huge push up to $45. It was doing exceptionally well. And then it broke below the SMA line. It's been selling off ever since. And as of right now, I see if you're investing in PLTR because you believe in it, then I see why you're doing that. As of right now, as a trader, direction is not in your favor. it is oversold, but this thing has not been recovering. Every time that it pushes up, it sells right back off. It pushes up, it sells right back off. So because of that, it's all about your intention. If your intention is to buy and hold, then yeah, based off of where we've been before and where it's at right now, I can see how you can justify a small entry or a position in it, right? Potential for recovery is huge. But as of right now, we have not gotten confirmation for anything. As of right now, it's still consolidating, it's still pulling on back, and it's not making anyone any money, right? It's just really, as of right now, if we're talking about the top stocks this week, this one wouldn't meet the criteria because the direction, it's not bullish right now. It could be bullish later on, and that's why we're going to set our alerts. So let's go ahead and follow up with it then. Let's go ahead and we got Kevin N. So we got DKNG. We got DraftKings. How many of you guys watched that Jake Paul fight yesterday? 3 hours. I thought I paid $50 to watch a fight, and I watched 3 hours of a concert of a bunch of crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I like Justin Bieber's performance though, but let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section. As of right now, DKNG, yeah, it was very bullish. I like that you're bringing these stocks up. It does have earnings, right? So if you're actually going to pay attention to this, set your alerts for May 7th. So just make sure you take that into consideration. Set your alert for the break below 55 as well, right? Just so we're aware of both sides. But as of right now, it's been selling off. It's been making lower lows, lower highs. I see why you're paying attention to it. Recovery potential is freaking huge, 26%. And this is why we're going to set our alerts. Direction is super important. Right now, the direction is not in our favor. So, let's go on to the next one. So we got Macy's. So ticker symbol M. What's going on, Luis? How you doing, man? So ticker symbol M. All right. Macy's has been super bullish, right? This is not a very popular stock. This is not a very trendy stock. But guess what? It's been very consistent for nearly the past 4 to 5 months. And that's definitely something that we need to find, that I find attractive. So I see eye to eye with that, right? As of right now, it's been consolidating a lot. One of the things that I want you to ask yourself is, for the past month, I can see the highs right around $17, the overall lows right around $15.50, right around $16. A lot of consolidation. Just because it's been bullish before doesn't mean that it has to be bullish again. It looks like we're experiencing a pretty solid resistance level right around that $17 price point, meaning that it's struggling to hold above that general area. And until then, I just don't see those little margins to be worth it, and it can easily begin to pull on back, just like we've seen the market do from time to time, where there's a breakout pattern, it pulls on back, and just because it's bullish before should not get your hopes up that it has to recover. Nothing has to happen in this market, especially with so much uncertainty, right? So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So I set my alert on that one. Let's go ahead and break down Tesla. So how's it going, Patty? Hope you're having an amazing day. So we got Grafted Investor also asking about Tesla. So I'm super happy that you guys, we normally don't break down stocks that I'm personally invested in. During these Sunday stock talks, I like to focus more on you guys. But it's earnings, right? And on the 26th of April, right, we are going to be reporting earnings. If I'm not mistaken, that is next week. It's not this week. So I think you said it was earnings this upcoming week. I think it's the beginning of next week. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think, today. Let me go ahead and double check. 26 is Monday of next week. So set your alerts. If you're invested in Tesla, if you're bullish on Tesla, make sure you take that into consideration. If you have any experience with earnings, you know that they don't always just act as a positive catalyst. They can actually drive the stock price down. So definitely something to take into consideration, definitely something to follow up with. As of right now, I think this week will be a determining factor if we actually begin to push up or if we begin to pull on back. We've been, we had a really strong start to the week last week with Tesla. It pushed up to nearly highs of $800. It got a lot of people's hopes up, and then guess what? It pulled right on back to $720 a share. As of right now, it's still teeter-tottering right around that EMA line. I have my alerts freaking set on this, and that's all I want to say about this is I don't know. No one can predict the future, right? No one can tell you, Tesla is going to recover this week, right? If you're an investor, then again, you shouldn't care about the day-to-day or the week-to-week, right? But as a trader, right, Tesla has been bullish. It's gained quite a bit of margin. Now, it wouldn't be much of a surprise if it loses that momentum, or if the NASDAQ market or the S&P 500 begin to pull back, that Tesla will most likely follow. It's just a possibility. If someone's telling you no, that can't happen, they're so closed-minded about the idea that it only has to go according to their plan. At the end of the day, there's two sides to every opportunity, and it is your job as either a trader or as an investor to determine and calculate your risk, right? So I have my alert set for the break below 720. If it pulls on back, it would not surprise me if it pulls on back to the previous support level, which is right around 680. If it begins to push up, the resistance level that I'm personally paying attention to is right around 780 to about $800 to see if we actually begin to pick back up to that $900 price level. How many of you guys would love to see Tesla back at $900 a share, which would be absolutely amazing? But as of right now, we're again consolidating right at the EMA line. I'm super excited to follow up this week. As of right now, again, the overall NASDAQ market is a little bit in the red. It's down about 0.25%. That doesn't mean much, until we actually begin to make lower lows and lower highs below the EMA line. I think that's when it could actually have an effect on Tesla. But as of right now, I think it's still right. We've seen it every single time the market pulls back maybe just a little bit, or goes a little bit in the red, but then it quickly recovers. So don't be afraid, again, to stay well balanced so you don't make an emotional decision. That's, I think, one of the best just tips that I can share, especially if and this is a very simple question that you can begin to ask yourself, but anytime that you feel uncomfortable when you're in a position, anytime that you become angry or frustrated, it's a huge red flag that you're investing or trading with too much money. It's a very simple thing that you can realize about the way that you're approaching the market. So we got Jordan with AEM. Let's go ahead and break that one down. Jordan with AEM. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to do 4 more after this. So Jordan, first off, I appreciate you tuning on in. As of right now, one of the things that we have been noticing with AIM, and you can correct me if you think I'm wrong, but as of right now, the overall direction has not been in your favor, right? It's been more bearish than it has been bullish. It's been making lower highs, been getting rejected off of that SMA line, and guess where we're at right now? At that SMA line. Patterns tend to repeat themselves. They, of course, don't always have to, but if I were to ask you, Jordan, based off of this descending resistance and this descending support, and with how recent it's recently pushed up, look at the RSI, look at the MACD, it's overbought. Is this a good deal? Well, based off previous patterns, I would say it's not. It wouldn't really surprise me if it begins to pull on back, but again, confirmation is key. So we can set our alert for the break above EMA, and until proven otherwise, then maybe that's when we can make more of a sound decision. Until then, I do not view this to be a good deal. I would easily see why it could get rejected at this general area based off previous resistance levels. So that's just my 2 cents. Let's go ahead and break down TIRX. I appreciate you posting that in the ticker call out format. So TIRX. So this one looks like it experienced some form of news. If you can let me know what was released, what day was this? Looks like it might have been the 8th, right? The 8th of April. Aggressive pullback, and it's this is one of the things that a lot of people when they're just getting started. I just remember the idea of they call these gappers, right? When they drop down quite a bit, and we expect them, once they begin to indicate signs of reversal, that they break above the EMA line and they gap back up. And sometimes it does happen if there's enough momentum and if there's enough hype behind them. A lot of the times they don't ever recover, right? This thing was very bullish. It hit a resistance right around $90, $100 a share, and we saw a sudden drop. So to keep this super short and sweet, I'm going to set my alert for the break above EMA. If it begins to indicate signs of an uptrend, great, let's follow up with it. But until then, don't sell yourself on the idea that this thing has to recover, because nothing has to happen, right? So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So, alrighty. So do we have anything in the ticker call out format? So we got people asking about NIO, BBBY. All right, James, let's go ahead and do that one. So oh, my bad, put in the wrong ticker. Here it goes. This is Bed Bath and Beyond. Okay, so dropped quite a bit due to earnings. Perfect example, right? We have a lot of stocks reporting earnings this upcoming week. Friendly reminder on that. This thing has been something that has been struggling. Looks like it gained back nearly 4% since its original drop. We're testing EMA line. I see why you're paying attention to it as a potential to recover to previous resistance levels, and surprisingly, it's actually more than I anticipated. If it were to recover to about $30, which is the previous resistance level, $30 from where it's at right now is about 17 to 18% recovery. So I definitely see why you're paying attention to it. I'm going to set my alert. This is not something that I would try to get on early in, and the reason why is this thing can get rejected and continue to sell right back off, especially being so fresh off of its earnings report. But if this thing does begin to recover, then I can see why day trading it might make sense as long as I can manage my risk within the day. So, all right, ticker symbol. What's going on, Brandon? So we got ticker symbol NIO. I appreciate you going out of your way and posting it in the ticker call out format. So NIO has been getting destroyed. I've been seeing a lot of people, you guys know from the very beginning, I'm not someone that trades these kind of stocks. I think actually we posted something in Untitled Solutions, the Instagram, something about Nikola. They always claim to be, I'm not questioning NIO, right? There's a big difference from NIO, right? They've actually came out with actual vehicles versus Nikola, where they haven't created anything to my understanding to the average consumer. But look at this. This is Nikola, right? Look at that 1 year analysis. It started at $10 a share, right? It went through its VTIQ merger or whatever that was, right? Hyped up to $93. That was its peak during all of its momentum, right? It surpassed Ford's market cap valuation. And then ever since then, been selling right off. It slowly has been losing its hype, losing its credibility, losing its momentum. I'm not saying that NIO is the same, right? There's obviously, I think, a lot more funding behind NIO, and there's actual vehicles behind them. So one of the things that I do want to share with you as of right now, on the 29th of April, they are reporting earnings, right? That can act as a further negative catalyst. Look what happened last time, right? It shot up and then dropped right back down. So is NIO bullish right now? Of course not. It has a very easy to see support level right around $35 a share. I think we can all see that, right? That's a critical point. If we break below $35, we can easily see this thing begin to bleed, right? And you guys can see that almost every single time it bounces, its resistance, descending resistance, is getting smaller and smaller. So if it continues to consolidate here, it would not surprise me that there would be enough selling pressure that it can drop below $35. So let's go ahead and let's set our alerts for critical points that's below $35 and the break above SMA line. I would love to see, and people think that, and this is one thing that you guys should at least know about me, is people think that because of the videos that I made about Nikola or the videos that I sometimes talk about NIO, is they think that I'm only for Tesla and that I'm against everything else. And that's definitely not the case, right? I'm a big believer in that, competition instills creativity. And I would love to see Tesla to have a direct competitor. But when these companies simply look like they're piggybacking off of Tesla's hype train, which I do agree, Tesla is pretty hyped up. It's probably one of the most hyped up multi-billion-dollar, it's probably the most hyped up blue chip stock in the S&P 500, let's be honest, right? NIO just has a lot to prove. And I think that we can, has a lot to prove, a lot to look forward to. As of right now, I'm going to keep it super simple. It's a descending pattern. Would I buy this right now? No. Why would I put my money in something that's selling off and that looks so uncertain? But if it begins to indicate signs of an uptrend, I just want it to break above $40, and then I can follow up with it then. If it begins to indicate signs of an uptrend, then guess what? Even from $40 a share back to previous resistance levels, that's a 63% return if it begins to indicate signs of recovery. Until then, I'm not too worried about it, right? Let's set our alerts. We can keep this one super simple and move on from there. So I don't know what's up with putting all these flags. I don't know what that means. So easy. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So we got Amir with CMCSA. What the? CSCMA. Did I type that incorrectly? CMCSA. Alrighty. So Comcast Corp. All right, I like this one. This one looks like it's consistent, it's bullish, and it's reliable. It has recently pulled back from 180-day highs. I love these. You guys know that I do. It has up-and-coming earnings, right? So make sure that's a huge heads up, 29th of April, and it's beginning to indicate signs of an uptrend. I think you did an amazing job with this. It has already began to trade above EMA line. I would just wait out for a potential little pullback back to the EMA line for it to test it as a potential support. I would hate for you to buy when it begins to push up and then it sells right back off. The margin is not huge. It's about 7%. But again, it's consistent. It's bullish. And especially if you're someone that's just getting started, I would first encourage you to look into the company, see if it's something that aligns with your criteria. And if it does, maybe then you can begin to dabble with the idea of, is this something that I want to invest my money into? Does this meet my criteria? Is it consistent enough? And is the opportunity cost worth it, right? Your risk versus reward. So I'm going to set my alert for the break below EMA, but I would also love to set my alert for when it begins to break or approach previous resistance levels at $58 a share. So let's go ahead and do two more. I don't want to take too much of your guys' time on Sunday, but how many of you guys are excited for this upcoming week? What do you guys think is going to happen for this week, right? You guys are all looking at the NASDAQ market. I want to see some opinions. Do you think that the market's going to continue to hold above EMA and make higher highs? Is it going to remain bullish, or is it going to begin to pull back and indicate signs of a reversal? Is it bearish? So bullish or bearish? Let me know what you think. So I don't know what that is, what that's for. Alrighty, so we got QCOM. What's going on, Joseph? I'd love to break down QCOM for you. So QCOM was doing a lot of consolidation last week. I don't really feel like much has changed. We pulled back, we tested support level at SMA, and it's beginning to try to push back up. Like I told you last week, Joseph, I'm pretty sure I talked about it. I was waiting for higher highs, and that's the break above 141. Until then, this margin just isn't worth it for me based off of how bullish it's been before. I just don't want to buy now and then ride it all the way back down. Do you get what I mean? It has earnings coming up as well on the 28th of April, so make sure you take that into consideration. I just think with how overbought the market is, how much it's consolidating, and the lack of this, bullish momentum, it wouldn't really surprise me if it begins to pull on back. And because of that, I would just hold on, being a little bit more selective and wait for that break above $41. So pullback, but still bullish. Okay, I like that. So bounce back and then recover. Bullish, 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 bearish, bullish, bullish, bullish. Alrighty. So we have a lot of mixed opinions, right? Alrighty. BABA. That's the one I saw right now. So this is Alibaba. Alibaba gapped up to highs of around 240, 245, became super overbought. Guess what happens? There was news that was shared. We've shared this so many times with you guys. What happens when news is shared and it acts as a positive catalyst? It's great, right? It's like earnings. It can really push up and drive the price up for the stock. But for people to think that just naturally it's going to hold up there when the news becomes less relevant, I think it's just very naive, right? So it pushed it up, and then now it's consolidating. It's struggling to hold up here, and it wouldn't really surprise me if it pulls on back. So it's been very bearish. Not much has changed, and because it gapped up so quickly, I just think that it was an overreaction and most likely going to pull right on back. I'm going to set my alert for the break below 230, and I'd love to follow up with BABA at these better price levels. All right, Eric, I'll do that one for you. So Mara or Riot. So Mara I know is a really popular one. Let's do it. All right, let's end it with this one. So Mara, this one does not look like it's a very safe stock. Let's just leave it at that. You can make it what it is in your head, right? I'm not here to subjugate others based off of how they see value, but the reason I'm saying that is I just want beginners to know that these stocks that offer greater rewards, right, from $40 to $58, that's 40% potential for recovery. I don't just want to be like, yeah, it offers 40%. Obviously, comparing this to like Walmart, you're going to be like, well, of course I want to make 40%. But guess what? This also offers a much greater form of risk. It does, and we need to make sure that we talk about it. Huge downside potential. Let's talk about the good things. Mara has been super bullish. It's been doing an amazing job holding above SMA. And it's been making higher highs and higher lows. great. What I would wait for is first, I would watch your position size. Because it's more risky, I would trade with less money to test things out, especially if you're just getting started. I would set my alert for the break above $43, $45, and until it begins to indicate signs of an uptrend, it is not worth it. Just because it's bounced here before doesn't mean that it has to bounce there again, right? Especially with something that has done an amazing job for the past 4 to 5 months. Don't be surprised if there's a breakup pattern. Patterns tend to repeat themselves. They don't always have to. So just do your part and staying well balanced and staying effective and simply buying and investing when it makes sense. Not when you want to, but when it actually makes sense. If that's at confirmation or if that's at based off of whatever criteria it is that makes sense to you, then so be it. But just make sure that just because you want to buy doesn't mean that it's the best time to buy. And if you've traded or have invested before, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. But that's really just it. So to kind of do a quick little recap, again, we talked about AEM, BABA, BBBY, CMCSA, DKNG, which is DraftKings, FedEx, FDX, MARA, MARA, NIO, PLTR, QCOMS, QCOM, TIRX, and of course, the infamous and notorious Tesla. To kind of summarize the overall my thoughts on the NASDAQ market, the NASDAQ market is still bullish, but it's very overbought. So what does that mean? I would just be selective. I would be selective with your position size, and I would be selective with where you choose to invest your money right now. It doesn't mean that you should be scared. You should never be scared to do something. It just means that you should be informed. You should be prepared, right? The last thing that I do want to share with you guys is on Shop TechBuds, so you guys can refresh this screen. All of our shirts, all of our tank tops, and all of our shirts. You guys can see that a majority of our stuff has sold out. Any shirt that is $19, you get the second one automatically for $1 at checkout. So let's say that you want to add one of these dialed shirts, right? You go here. Let's say you do quantity. You want it to be 2. And it should automatically do it where, let's go ahead and change that to 2. Is it doing it? There it goes. So buy a tee, get a tee for $1. So that's the sale that we have going on, and it ends tonight. It started on Friday, so whatever inventory we have in stock, again, you can add 2 shirts to your checkout, and you will get 1 at full price and 1 for $1. And of course, it includes free shipping if you're within the United States. Again, that's at shoptechbuds.com. If you guys haven't joined our free Facebook group, that's that first link in the description. And again, we'd love to have you guys join us for our live trading session, and that's tomorrow at Market Open. So if you want to tune on in and watch me trade live, click the second link in the description, and we'll see you tomorrow at Market Open. Until then, like always, let's make sure that we end the year